Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to talk about how I feel about job seeking in the Netherlands, especially when it comes to the technology sector, and how I think it is absolutely atrocious and looks like I'm applying in America, but with lesser jobs and lesser opportunities. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you want to see me make it 600 in 7 years. So let's talk about my experience first. I did the bachelor's of computer science, so I have experience also with the minor and those kinds of stuff. But I never knew if I wanted to pursue that stuff because the 3 years when I went to school, basically it taught me that they're full of shit, and I don't like to be full of shit. I don't want politics, activism, anything like that. The compliance of that in my daily job, and there were a lot of things at the time, especially during because it was during COVID time. There were a lot of things that I disagree with. So I was like, I'm not gonna apply. I'm just gonna enjoy the things that I do, and we'll see what happens later. Now later, I realized, okay, I want to do something, but I actually want to. If I'm gonna work for this job, I didn't study for nothing. I don't want to have an ego or anything like that, but if it's gonna be for 3K and all the way to, I don't know, 7, 8K within 30 years or something, I won't go for it because you have to work your ass off, and there's a lot of things in the Netherlands I do not agree with. Um, um, I'm not gonna get into that, but basically, I won't do that. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's not because I don't want to work hard and those kinds of stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with a certain way of doing certain stuff, which I do not like. It's not my method. It's not my style. I want my work to be work, and I want my life to be life. I want to have fun when I have fun, and I don't want to mix them, right? So, and that's a lot happening here nowadays, which I don't like. Of course, this is subjective. This is my personal fact. This is my opinion. Now, I decided to start this channel, which is making 600 in 7 years, because I think I can do better than working and sitting my ass for 30 years at a job. Also, I like working on my own. So that is also a personal reason that I actually want to do that. Not because I don't want to work with others per se, but I want to be self-sufficient. It is my skill, and I don't necessarily need a team to accomplish things. Not because of ego, it's because I like doing things on my own. This is a personal preference. The other reasons that why I'm going actually for a job right now is because after COVID, they decided to, the world decided to be very expensive, and the gap is closing down. So if I'm not in the gap, I will be out the gap. I might never get in again. I don't want to be poor for the rest of my life. Or broke the rest of my life. Nothing against being poor or broke, but the things what you have to gather up and the things that it costs to be poor is way too painful than having some money in a bank and those kinds of stuff. So that's also the reason why I'm going to the technology sector right now, which I never actually planned to do. So yeah, in the last couple of weeks, I have been struggling because I have been tech maximalizing. So if you don't know what that means, it's basically you are working on a tech to be perfect, but you're not actually going for the goal that it actually needed to. So I deviated a bit. And usually I'm very action focused on those things. I'm very practical and action related, but it seems like I deviated a bit, and you see me struggling on the streams and those kinds of stuff. So that's why I decided to not do that anymore, and I switched to the most things that are most important, and then in the back from the things that I actually like to work on has to be a little bit. I have to take a step back because I need to fix this, and the reason why I need to fix this is because according to the application that I had, my finances, profit, like my profit, net loss, bills, those kinds of stuff, went down 18.6%, so almost 20%, which is a shock. If we are just 4 months in 2025, That is huge. Now people are going to start political. Oh, it's because of that. No, I don't want to talk about that. It's not that important. What is important is I need to get out of that situation, right? Some people are gonna blame on others. I'm not a complainer like that. So yeah. So now that we have that, so the next thing is like, okay, well, if that is the case, then I need to switch, because I am not going to work my ass off for certain stuff. So I want to get something that is reasonable, but also is also reasonable pay. I don't want to get like really high pay and like work very hard, or I don't want to like work very hard for the money that I'm getting paid, like the market conform kinds of stuff. I want something to be reasonable, and it doesn't have to be like cool stuff. Right? I don't care about being cool or popular and those kind of stuff. Like, you see this channel, is this channel any cool? No, it is not cool. It's just showing you the accountability and I'm showing up. That is basically what it is, and I'm sharing this to the world. Basically, that is what my YouTube channel is about. And if you like more entertainment and those kinds of stuff, then you should go to that YouTube channel and all those tips and those kinds of stuff. Because it's not that I'm sharing them when I'm streaming, when people ask, but I'm not gonna focus down on this channel doing that. So yeah, that being said, let's continue. So basically, we have been job seeking, which is actually the meat of the video. That's a long introduction, right, for 6 minutes. But now you know the backstory, how everything came to be. When I applied to jobs in the Netherlands, it seems like the opportunities are slim. And if there is an opportunity, it is like applying in the USA. Now, the benefits aren't necessarily bad compared to the USA, but the pay is way better than the USA. Now, why am I comparing to that country? Well, they are acting like that country. The companies are acting like them, but they're not giving like them. And that's what I have a problem with. Now, there's something called localized pay, which makes sense, but I don't care about that. I can also work remotely, so I might apply internationally. That is a bit off topic, but now you know. So what I'm focusing on is not necessarily going to go for and all that cool stuff, because my microphone just ran out. I'm not focusing on. I'm focusing on content management, website management, those kinds of stuff. Why? Because I will need the brain power for this channel, making 600 a day in 7 years. Now, even those jobs that I said has a lot of variety. So think about content editors is not the same as content manager or website editor, or they use different words to describe those certain words. So I have to look for specific keywords and those kinds of stuff. Won't necessarily help. I have to search broad, and I have to click on something and hope for the best that it's actually what I'm looking for. Now, especially when it comes to email development, there's a lot of email development where I am thinking like, okay, something's fishy here, because a lot of them want you to do 9 times out of 10, it's only about marketing. So they're giving like the marketing job and the email development job has to be one thing. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but the pay for that is what I have a problem with. The same for full stack. So people expect, okay, if you are full stack, then you get paid a little bit more than a front-end developer or back-end developer. This is not true at all. Sometimes it's true, but I can give you examples which you actually can see on the stream that it's not the case. For example, today I saw an application that said freelance front-end developer. Then it was talking about back-end stuff, back-end technologies, updating with a certain environment and those kinds of stuff. And you also, for a freelance position, you needed to have a bachelor or more, bachelor or master's degree, which is absolutely insane. So what I did, I went to their website and see what kind of BS they're on about. So I checked the website, which is actually insane. Now this might be a scam, right? You don't know, but oftentimes these are not scams, and they're really asking that stuff just because it's their wish list, right? So let's talk about a little bit about the wish list. And this is not a tutorial, right? This is just my personal fact. And sometimes I give you examples that you are unaware of. A wish list basically means not necessarily everything what they list down is usually a wish list. They hope you know this. Like there are some core things, 1 or 2 things, but the rest is a wish list. Because they know they're not gonna get certain types of people, certain types of stuff, because they all have egos. So I just wanted to mention that I'm gonna focus down on the CMS part, which is content management system. It's basically managing websites and a little bit with SEO and those kinds of stuff. And that I'm then gonna go full to this channel again. So I'm gonna take a little bit of step back, and now you know what you're gonna expect. All right, so I'm gonna round this video off. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you want to see me making 600 today in 7 years, and I will see you until the next one.